Hey you, it's another beautiful day and I got a big coffee for this one. I got a request over on my Facebook page. I'll leave a link down in the comments below so you can go and check it out and follow me if you'd like. It's for the Puram. I can't pronounce it properly and I do apologize. The cult that was in Oregon in the 80s. So we're going to take a look at that just a little bit and I'm going to do some research and hopefully say smart things, right? And we're going to take a look at a few other cults while we're at it. So let's watch some stuff.
This cult tried to poison an entire town. Rajneeshpuram was started in 1981 by Rajneesh. It had 7,000 members, with 2,000 of them living in a commune on 64,000 acres in Wasco County, Oregon. They had their own police, restaurants, and public transportation. Rajneesh even got his followers to buy him helicopters and 93 Rolls Royces. Soon they wanted to expand but met resistance from the locals, so their solution: eliminate part of Wasco's population so that their own candidates could win election. They contaminated the salad bars at 10 local restaurants with salmonella. 751 people got food poisoning, though no one died. It was the single largest bioterrorist attack in United States history.
All right, so a little backstory. They were originally formed in India and they moved to what was known as the Big Muddy Ranch in Oregon, and it was purchased by Sheila's husband. Now, Sheila is like, she ends up becoming the crazy cult leader. She's like super in charge of everything. Rajneesh is back there just being all quiet, and she's like in charge, and she's doing all of the publicity and all of the rules making. And it's a great documentary. So her husband bought this property and they moved there, and thousands of people just flocked to be part of this religion, which is, how it works. And they all wore the same color, like red jumpsuits. It was what they did. It was their jam. Okay. But this poisoning that she's talking about, what they did was they were trying to get their members into into positions of power during the vote. And so they felt that if they had poisoned all of the people that lived there when it came time to vote, they would be able to get their own voters in there to vote for them. So get this, their voters were homeless people that they just picked up on the side of the roads in other states, and they just brought them to this compound, and they were going to have them vote. But it backfired. Like, they weren't able to get these people to they weren't able to get these people to convert. They were unable to get them to become productive members of their society either, because a lot of them were on illicit substances, or a lot of them had mental disabilities, and they tried giving them medication and it just didn't work. And then they just pushed these people out. So now this city is overrun with all of these homeless people that they brought in to try to do their dirty work. So that was pretty crazy. After that incident, there was a lot of suspicion regarding illegal activities happening there, and a lot of the people left. And then the city just fell into disrepair. And eventually it was sold in the 90s to a Montana billionaire, Dennis Washington. And he donated it to the Young Life Christian Youth Group. I haven't found any good videos regarding where it's still being practiced and how it's going on, but I hear that it is, or I've read that it is still being practiced in some places. If you have a chance to watch the documentary, it's called Wild Wild Country. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix. But it's incredible. It's absolutely worth watching. Just a quick shout out to Anthea for suggesting the topic for today's video. If there's something else you'd like me to cover, please let me know down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get it in one of my upcoming videos. If you're having a good time, you know where that thumbs up button is. Just hit it for me real quick and maybe consider subscribing, and then come back tomorrow because I'm making a new video every day.
I had thought that I had seen everything when it came to cults, but you are not prepared for what this cult believes. So HBO just released this documentary about the Love Is One cult, which was run by this woman, Amy Carlson, who calls herself Mother God. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but she believed she was controlled by the spirit of Robin Williams, and this like yassified version of Saint Germain. Also, I cover a lot of dark stuff on this page, so you should follow along. She also said she could channel and get advice from this like galactic federation of celebrities. There's like Mr. Rogers, Carrie Fisher, Steve Irwin, and randomly Donald Trump, who is not dead. But Robin Williams is at the top, and so the cult believes they're getting a lot of advice through Robin Williams, so they'll say things like, So one of the beliefs that this cult has is that one day Robin Williams is going to arrive in a spaceship to take Mother God away so that she can spiritually ascend. He also told her that she can only be 103 pounds to get on the spaceship, which is why she's trying to lose a lot of weight. Eventually, Mother God starts getting sicker and sicker, and also bluer and bluer because of the colloidal silver supplements they won't stop giving her. And everyone thinks, oh my god, Robin Williams must be coming on a spaceship really soon to help Mother ascend. Eventually, she passes away, and guess what? Shockingly, Robin Williams does not descend in an intergalactic spaceship to come collect the 103-pound body of Mother God. And so the cult members just have her body. They don't know what to do with it. They thought Robin Williams was gonna come. So they hang out with it for 12 days until the police finally show up. Anyways, this whole thing is a trip. You just gotta watch it to believe it.
This is one of those documentaries that I absolutely recommend. I thought it was fantastic. It was an incredible story, and it's crazy. It was on HBO Max. I'm pretty sure it's still there. I don't know for sure. Um, but this was just a regular lady, right? And she may have had a little bit of like a need for attention, perhaps, and she had developed a marijuana use problem and as well as alcohol abuse. So those things together, I guess, may have made her a little more crazy. I honestly, I don't know. But these people, these young people were following her, and they believed that she was like the second coming of Jesus, and they just believed everything that she had to say. She would do podcasts like daily, and so would her followers that were living there on her compound. They were just constantly broadcasting what it is they're doing. They started selling like herbal supplements or essential oils and this colloidal silver stuff, right? So this colloidal silver was Mother God's medicine. Like she would just drink it constantly. That was the thing that she would drink. She would drink alcohol, she would smoke her herbs, and she would drink this colloidal silver. And that's why she turned blue. And they would just keep giving it to her, like, oh, she's sick. She needs more of her medicine. And they just kept giving it to her. And after she passed away, they were in a hotel room. I can't remember what state they were in, but they were there for a few days before they loaded her into a van and then like traveled back with her to their compound across state lines. So that was absolutely crazy. And then there's another part, I won't ruin it for you, where they go to Hawaii. Yeah, you want to watch that documentary and see what happens to them in Hawaii. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Anybody who's spiritual or witchy, I strongly recommend you guys watch this documentary. It's called Love Has Won, The Cult of Mother God. It's on HBO Max. It chronicles the life of Amy Carlson. So Amy believed that she was billions of years old. She believed that she reincarnated from Jesus, Marilyn Monroe, that she could channel messages from Robin Williams, from the Galactic Federation of Light, Saint Germain, the Council of Nine. Amy obviously had some mental health issues, but she was definitely a cult leader. She would make her followers starve themselves and go without sleep. And anybody who's looked into cults before knows that cult leaders do that to break someone down. She also isolated them from their family and friends, any support system that they had. Amy struggled with anorexia and alcoholism, and because of that, she started to get sick. When she started getting sick, she started drinking high amounts of colloidal silver, which subsequently started turning her blue. Unfortunately, Amy passed away. But after she passed away, her followers kept her body because they believed a spaceship was going to come and take her vessel, meaning her body. The reason why I recommend that people watch it is so you can listen to the terminology that she uses. She cherry-picking of many surface-level teachings of different spiritual practices, a lot of them closed, wrapping it up with some pseudoscience terminology, and topping it off with a very soft, almost robotic voice. There are so many spiritual people that do that. And they do that and they stand on a pedestal of spiritual superiority. They wrap it up in a love and light little bow, and more often than not will spiritually bankrupt you. I think it's good for others to see what she's done so they can be aware of other people who might be doing some similar things to what Amy was doing. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later.
I know she repeated a bunch of stuff that was in the first video about the Love Has Won cult. But I like how she said at the end how cult leaders speak. And they're all the same way. They're all very suave, right? And you just like to listen to them. And it makes you feel comfortable in what they are saying. It's interesting. If you look at all of these cults, it's all the same thing. They all are the same type of personality, aren't they? Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about one of the most batshit crazy cults to have ever existed in modern times. Most of you know the name of the cult, which is Heaven's Gate, but a lot of you don't know the background of it, so that's what we're going to be discussing today. Heaven's Gate was founded by two people in the mid-70s, Bonnie Nettle and Marshall Applewhite. So the premise of the Heaven's Gate belief system would be that a UFO comes down to Earth to pick up Heaven's Gate and take them to heaven, where they would then be transferred into better bodies. I'm going to play you a clip that would play if you got initiated into Heaven's Gate, and the creator is Marshall Applewhite, one of the two founders of Heaven's Gate.
Planet Earth about to be recycled. Your only chance to evacuate is to leave with us.
Now, the one thing a lot of people didn't know about Heaven's Gate was when it was first introduced, you were actually put into the UFO alive, and then you would be transferred to heaven while still alive, and then having your soul transferred into a different body. However, all of that changed in 1985 when Bonnie Nettles, a co-founder of the cult, died from cancer. And with her death, Heaven's Gate members started to question Applewhite, what happens to her now that she is dead? And Applewhite, being the complete cult leader, batshit crazy person that he is, he said that her soul had already ascended to heaven and it is now their job to catch up with her. And it was this agenda that Applewhite actually pushed for 12 years until the tragedy of 1997. Because in 1997, Halley's Comet was passing by Earth, and Applewhite had claimed that the UFO was no longer coming to Earth and it was their job to meet it halfway, and the UFO was hiding behind Halley's Comet. There's also a Heaven's Gate website that is still active. Obviously, there's a lot more chapters that I didn't cover in the Heaven's Gate manga, but there's just so much information here that I can't squeeze it into a 3-minute video. So in 2 or 3 days, I will be taking a deep dive into Heaven's Gate, and I will post a full video on YouTube if you guys are interested.
So this is one that I actually remember. Like, I was old enough to remember Halley's Comet. Quick correction, it was actually the Hale-Bopp Comet, and this cult of people that believed there was a spaceship there. And that is absolutely crazy. But what is interesting is how when something happens to one of the leaders, there's always an excuse and there's always a reason why it's okay that this person passed away, because they went in that manner for whatever reason, and they got to perpetuate the belief to keep the followers there, because they need that attention, they need that money, they need that whatever it is that they're giving the leaders to survive, right? It's crazy, but that is definitely one of the craziest cults of our time.
I was not allowed to celebrate my birthday for 17 years. 17 years. And what I'm about to say may be controversial, but I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be real with y'all. Jehovah's Witnesses is a cult. It's a modern day cult. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. Let's get into it. Now, what is a cult? First slide. A cult is a small group that is religious and that is not a part of a larger and more accepted religion, that it has beliefs regarded by many people as extreme or dangerous. So, reason number 1. You must shun anybody that leaves the religion, whether they leave the religion because they are kicked out because they did something against the rules, or if they just decide to leave. You have to shun that person. You're not allowed to speak to that person. Even if they are your family, you're expected to shun them. And if you don't, people gonna give you the side eye. And you might be on the line. Your Jehovah's Witness title might be on the line, because why are you talking to them? They not Jehovah's Witness no more. What do I call this? Extreme. That's absurd. You're gonna tell me not to talk to my own family because they decided to get a tattoo, or they decided to get a blood transfusion. That's just crazy. Next slide. Reason number 2. Like I said, y'all, you cannot celebrate your own birthday. You can't celebrate anything, honestly, but how are you gonna tell me that I cannot celebrate my own birthday? I am 99% sure this is the only religion where you cannot celebrate your own birthday. So what do I call this? Extreme. People have looked at me so crazy when I told them I wasn't allowed to celebrate my birthday, because, I mean, hello, it is a bit absurd. So what do I do now? I live it up every chance I get. Every birthday I have, I'm going to celebrate it. I don't care if I only got $10 in my account. I'm doing something, because I wasn't allowed to show my ass for 17 years. Come on now. Meet me in part 2 so we can get into this last dangerous reason.
That is truly controversial, because Jehovah's Witnesses, they're considered to be more of a mainstream religion, I suppose, if that's what you want to call it. I had friends in high school that never celebrated birthdays or anything like that. And it was because they were Jehovah's Witnesses, but I never knew the amount of rules that went into it. Like, you're not allowed to get a tattoo. You can't have a blood transfusion, no piercings, things like that. But to shun your own family members if they don't follow the rules, and if you don't shun them, you get shunned. Like, you're out. That's it. I didn't know that it was that extreme. I really like her enthusiasm with how she's like, oh, extreme. That kind of made it a little entertaining. But at the same time, it is very controversial. Some religions, they do that, don't they? Now that we've been controversial, I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. Aunt Thea, thanks for the suggestion. It was a good one. I appreciate you. Come back tomorrow. I'm going to have a new episode, and hopefully it'll be awesome. Have a wonderful day.